And we're live. What's good, Ohio Cannabis Report family, and happy Friday. Oh, let me see. I need to. There we go. Happy Friday. It's a lot going on in the world, obviously. And we're back to bring you just some local cannabis conversation and news. I went on last night, got some rest. So we're back at it. My guy, Rodney Hash, coming on. There he is. And we're going to bring them on. And today we're going to talk about what's going on with Ohio SB56. Also, we're just going to give a little breakdown on what's been, citizens are thinking. There's been a few of us in group chats ever since they started SB56. And so, again, a lot of information to cover. Again, this is for news, entertainment, educational purposes only. Just a little disclaimer. Thank to all of our supporters. We're up to about 190 subscribers on YouTube, where we're streaming now. Our newest Instagram, we're at 295. I think our Facebook's climbing up there as well. So thank you guys for all the love and support over the last few months and years. We're going to keep bringing you guys this news and information. Where do you go? Where you go, Rodney? I'm just seeing you in the room. Let me see. I was gonna wait for some of y'all to come in the chat. We had a really good conversation last night with some folks. Let's see, where you go? Oh, there you go. I keep logging on. While we're waiting for Rodney. Having issues with the stream. Hold on. Okay. Sorry about that. Y'all know how it goes. Technology, technical difficulties. But he's all good. We'll figure it out. Trying to figure out how to turn your phone around. What you trying to turn your phone around? Can you hear me? Hey, Rodney, can you hear me? Oh, here you going again. I think you're trying to figure out how to turn this camera around. Boop, boop. Let me see. Also, I hope you guys are prepared and staying safe for this storm that's supposed to be coming through. I know that it was cold outside. I was just outside. It was cold. I ain't gonna hold you. It was good. It was good. I see we got some eyes coming in. Thanks for tapping in, guys. We're just getting situated. I'm gonna have Rodney Hash on. He's just trying to figure out his stream right now. But Rodney is somebody that has been active at the State House ever since SB56 was being proposed at the State House. I forget what part of the state he's in, but I'll let him tell his story. But obviously, we like to have different perspectives on the show, just so we can hear people's perspectives from all walks of life. So while you figure that out, let me see. It's also our first time doing one of these in a while, so just bear with us. I'm gonna see if I can find some more conversations concerning Ohio SB56 in the news. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen really quick, and we're gonna do this while Rodney Here's a stream. All right, so we got new language for petition to stop changes to Ohio cannabis laws submitted after initial rejection. So, coming out of Cleveland, Ohio, WOIO, Ohioans for Cannabis Choice filed the new petition summary language with the Ohio Attorney's General Office, along with more than 1,000 signatures from registered voters to give Ohioans a chance to say no to SB 56 in November. Quote, we have addressed each and every issue raised by Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost, and we are confident our new petition summary language will be approved. We are determined to give voters the chance to say no to SB 56 in November, no to government overreach, no to shuttering 6,000 small businesses in Ohio, and no to lawmakers who dared to deliver a slap in the face to Ohioans who overwhelmingly voted to make cannabis legal in 2023, end quote, said Dennis Willard, spokesperson for Ohioans for Cannabis Choice. Ohioans for Cannabis Choice supports proper regulations, testing protocols, age gating products for those over 21, proper licensing, and a framework that keeps access while allowing for proper regulations for a successful state model that others will look to follow. Learn more, go to no on SB56.com. Let me see. Uh, So yeah, that's a place where you can go to obviously um, to register or to be a petition. I think they're looking for volunteers to help get petitions as well. Again, the governor signed the law, right? He signed the bill into law. So it takes 90 days for it to go into effect. Somebody was saying last night that he could undo it or something like that, but I don't know about all of that. So again, that's why in November this would no to SB 56 would be something that would be put on the November ballot. Obviously, a lot of people have been talking about the need for a constitutional amendment. And again, these things take money, they take lawyers, they take time. And so just average folks typically don't always have the resources, funds, the information to be able to understand what's going on at the state house all the time. So that's why we try to give you as much news and information as possible. That's why we try to bring you different voices from the community. Again, a lot of big business people, they don't associate themselves with the workers, right? Like they associate themselves with the politicians and other business people to control markets. And so that's what the Ohio cannabis industry has been doing since we started about 6 years ago. They've been positioning themselves to control and dominate the market between just a handful of people, right? When we know anybody and everybody really can grow cannabis. We have people in this state that would love to be legal and have smaller grow licenses and stuff like that. But our state licensor hasn't allowed those things to happen. So they're really gatekeeping the industry and they're adding criminal penalties that will hurt a lot of Ohioans. So um, that's why we try to give you guys, fresh perspective, an independent perspective. We are not backed by any major news outlets. We're not backed by any cannabis companies. This is literally something I started in my basement. So um, anybody can do this. You know what I mean? I think YouTube, Instagram, the internet is a powerful tool, powerful resource. But people have to learn how to use it. When I first moved to Ohio, or not first, but I lived in Appalachia, and a lot of people didn't have access to the internet, high speed internet. And that was really surprising to me because, again, I've been pretty privileged. But when you get to some of these small rural towns, some of them don't have access to all of the information and resources as fast as some of us do in major cities. So that's also why we try to use this platform to hopefully spread and reach as many eyes and ears and hearts as possible to bring us all together. Because with all the division going on in the world and in our country, I know weed brings a lot of people together. So that's what we try to do on this platform. So it looks like Rodney's set up. You all good, Rodney? Bet.
You can hear me. I had a new mic, but it messed up.
Oh, we can hear you. We got you loud and clear. What's going on, Rodney?
Doing pretty good, man. How are you?
I'm doing all right, man. Another day in this beautiful, amazing chaos.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
it'd be a lot better if the state AG had approved the voter referendum off rip, but we
well,
can only do what we can do.
yeah.
luckily, all of us folks in cannabis and every facet of it, we're used to jumping through hoops. So I think they messed up and they messed with the wrong people. They messed with SB56. They didn't just mess with hemp operators. They messed with all of us consumers.
Yeah.
They messed with the culture, the people. And
Yeah. Before you get started, go ahead and tell the people who you are, man, where you're coming from. Just so we could level set the room so that people know we on YouTube right now.
yeah,
So
for sure.
yeah,
So I'm
let the
Rodney
people know.
Hash. A lot of people may know me from talking at the State House or on Instagram or also on YouTube. You can find me as Rodney Hash on every platform. I actually helped start off the industry. I worked for Buckeye Relief for a number of years. I was there from Harvest 3 all the way up to 57. We harvested every 3 weeks, so you can figure out the math for yourself. From there, I went to a dispensary, worked at Bloom for a little bit, helped work directly with the patients, which helped because then I got to realize all the stuff that I was reading in books actually is applicable to people from a medical standpoint, not just like, hey, like I read somewhere that caryophyllene helped with pain relief. Well, I can tell you firsthand, anecdotally at very least, the number of people that I got that correct on was about 80 to 90%. So it's not 100% science, but it's pretty close to being spot on if you really do your deep dives on things. Then from there, I went to a processing lab, Lighthouse Sciences. Do not recommend them in any way, shape, or form. I learned about extraction, but I also learned about like a lot of the remediation methods that a lot of these guys do, such as CRC, and I'm very vocal about not having remediation methods. If you grow the weed good the first time, you don't need to remediate it. Pretty simple. But yeah, from there, I left the industry. I actually work in a factory now, to be completely honest with you, but still being passionate about the plant and everything with it. I've continued on my journey as Rodney Hash. I've gone to the State House with Gerald himself. We both spoke twice against this bill and another bill that basically got conjoined into this bill. And some of the things got listened to by some reps, but a majority of it just got thrown out. I knew that this was going to happen when the House voted it out of committee. As soon as it was going to hit the Senate floor, I already knew that we were looking at a bad situation. Because yeah, what they sent over to the Senate may have been a little bit better, but it's again that falls back to that remediation thing. You can only shine a turd so much; it's still a turd. It is what it is. It's a really bad bill. It's a bill that's essentially taking away our rights as consumers, and no matter how much
So
you
let
polish
people know
that
that might not be familiar, right? Like, because I feel like we've been at this for quite some time at this point, right? So let people know, because obviously this is a statewide issue, right? So I live in Columbus, which is metropolitan area, very blue, but we live in a red state. There's a lot of things going on socially, social, economic wise. Let people know, all right, we got cannabis legal for medical 6 years ago. Then we voted for adult use. What was our adult use bill? What did people like about it? What was the driving force to get people to go vote for this bill to legalize cannabis? And then what was the process like through Ohio SB56 to get to the point where it's signed by the governor and about to be enacted in 90 days? Kind of walk through people through that journey of where Ohio sits in this space.
So like you said, we started off like 6 some years ago, maybe more now, with the medical program. That actually started off because I think the state realized like, oh shit, we've got to do something, because if not, they're going to vote rec it immediately. Because previous to the state being the one to legalize medical, we had a voter initiative to legalize it. There was a couple issues with it, and the big issue that a lot of people seen was the few amount of operators, also known as a limited license. The word monopoly got thrown out there real heavy, and I can tell you right now that came from the fentanyl company. They dropped millions of dollars into Ohio, because I don't know about you, but I'm in Cleveland. I don't know if you've ever been up this way, but drugs are bad, man, like real bad. Like I said at the State House, the first time that I've seen fentanyl levels of death decline to where cocaine is now the #1 killer in Cleveland. And that's pretty wild. That's because more access. Every month we have an event up here. So every month, people in Cleveland, thousands of people go to this event to go get cannabis from local people instead of the dispensary. So that almost passed. even though
Right.
there was millions of dollars of propaganda trying to prevent it from happening. They
Right.
seen that it was the people still wanted this.
Right.
So one way or another, this was going to happen. So for that reason, they passed the med program.
Right.
And working in it, I can tell you firsthand that it was not there for the people. It was
Mhm.
there designed to fail.
Right.
Every single step of the way, it was designed to fail. Bringing metric into the system, bring like all of it, just top to bottom.
Right.
Starting off with 2.83s, we still don't have eighths in Ohio. That's wild, dude. Like the Ohio 10th is a joke to the point to where like people have Ohio 10th shirts. You go to Las Vegas and bring up the Ohio 10th, people know about it. It's a joke. It's literally our state is a joke.
It's a
You
joke.
know?
We're literally a joke in a lot of different aspects too, man.
Yep. So then from the med program, again, they were doing that to slow roll everything.
Got you.
The
Yeah.
voters seen, hey, like clearly this isn't that big a deal.
Right.
So we got issue 2 put on the ballot. Issue 2 is kind of like looking at Colorado, California, all of the states across the board. If you look on Normal's website, they'll tell you kind of like state by state what the specifics of things are.
Right.
The legal amount that you're allowed to hold, 2.5 ounces in Ohio. If you're a med patient, it's significantly more, just saying, so get your med card. But it also gives you different protections that clearly with SB56, we're not getting. In fact,
And
we're
you
getting
get some discounts, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's
a little bit, which actually the discount makes up for the med card in a lot of ways if you do shop there, which
I mean, and
generally
I
don't.
gotta tell people, man, like be smart. People have to become better consumers, right? Like if you're going to shop and spend your money, you have to actually learn how to shop and work with people because all of these doctors are giving different prices for med cards.
Yes.
So, I mean, my med card is free.
Oh, the
And
ones
they
so now I've heard 39, but free. Okay, free 99 is
well,
pretty nice.
well, I've built a platform that I help people on, so people help me, right?
Yeah,
And
no, I
so
100% get that.
but again, I think we have like over 500 doctors or something like that. So, there's tons of different, ways, but I
And
mean,
there's a
some of these
lot of
doctors are
not
getting
great
people
doctors.
for $100, $200. Yeah, some people just ripping people off.
Yeah.
Some of you're paying $100 for every 6 months, right? Like, do you have to redo your card? So again,
I've
a
seen
lot
one
of
doctor that was ripping patients off to where he was doing it every 3 months for this one person and charging them like $200 every 3 months. This was still a little early in the program. This was
right.
probably 2, 3 years in, but still,
Right.
like,
Yeah. Well, because again, doctors are capitalists, right? So you got doctors that are like, well, I'm the only doctor in this area, and I have people coming into my practice. I have older people with disposable income coming into my practice asking for
you
help.
know,
They don't know. By the time they figure it out, I'm rolling in the dough. So again, in Ohio is a state like that where a lot of these people are being taken advantage of
and
and don't even realize it.
a lot of the people that are going to these dispensaries are, like you said, a lot of older people.
Yeah.
Like the reason I was able to use cannabis as a medicine in large part, like, yeah, there was people that come in even when it was med, like super med, like everything med in a sense,
Yeah.
but like they weren't like a cancer patient. They weren't like uh there was one dude that I had that was so anxiety ridden that he literally
Mhm.
could not sit in a room with 6 people that were his family without being in a ball in the corner, just trying to cope with
Right.
everything in reality.
Right.
I got him on the 1906 chill pills. Keep in mind, this dude went on every single pharmaceutical. He had a list, and it was long and
Yeah.
expensive, and nothing was helping him. I think the
Yeah.
last thing he was on was Klonopins. Uh,
Mm.
when I'd seen him again, he acted like a normal person. He took a quarter of the 1906 chill pill, like a 4-to-1 CBD to THC every day, and he was cool. He was
Yeah.
normal. Like that's the medicine of it, and that's what people don't get. Like it's a majority of people in Ohio that are shopping,
Yeah.
especially in the med program, especially
Yeah.
early on, that we're med patients, bro. Like we have
Right.
legitimate needs.
Yeah. And I mean, Ohio is a unhealthy state, right? I mean, one of the top states for the opioid crisis. I mean, there's a lot of different things hitting Ohio. I mean, a lot of people in some of these rural counties that, families worked in factories, coal, plants and stuff like that. So people are dealing with cancers, chronic pain, arthritis, IBS, like all of these different neurological issues that are just painful that there's no real cure for that people just need kind of a relief, and that's what cannabis provides, where you don't have to go to a doctor and get a pill, right? That the pill is going to lead to you needing to take another pill and then another pill,
And
or it
then you
just
get a
numbs you.
cocktail.
Right. Or you just become numb. And so that's also why I started this platform, because my degree is in healthcare. But obviously, going through the university, you learn Western medicine in the capitalistic sense of the healthcare system, right? They're not talking about cannabis or the endocannabinoid system on college campuses.
Uh-huh. I'd be willing
So,
to bet a lot of the time, unless you're actually becoming a researcher yourself, they don't even tell you how the research more often than not is performed and what
yeah,
the pharmaceutical companies are allowed to leave out when they send it over to the Fed. I mean,
yeah.
there's a lot of like, let's say, for example, we're going through a study. You've got 2,000 people in the study. You find out 36 of them were having a bad reaction to the thing. And
Mhm.
rather than including that in your study, before you send it off, you can just get those people out of the study, and now all of a sudden your patient pool looks way better than what it actually is, and you
Mhm.
don't have to include those 30 some people that had
Right.
bad reactions to your medicine. And then
Right.
that eventually gets put all the way up, and then next thing you know, we have issues. But by the time that we've made this $3 million class action lawsuit where people have gotten paid off of it, the pharmaceutical company that made it has made $4 billion off of
Mhm.
that. So like,
And people have
it's crazy.
died. And people,
A lot of people
again,
have died.
people die, and then what happens is, once people die, you have the grief process. You have people that are already struggling with poverty, so they don't have the money to sue, they don't have lawyers, and so you just take the loss. And that's what we're seeing in Ohio, in a lot of different cases, right? Where a lot of
Mhm.
people just don't have the money, the resources, the information, and they've been poisoned, right? And they've been neglected, and they've been, left out to die and dry by our politicians and the big business folks, right? So, but that's what I
Yup.
love about cannabis, is because it's more culturally inclusive, right? It's something that we all can kind of gel with, but it helps people in
Mhm.
all different walks of life deal with the trauma, right? The
And
anxiety, the stress, the depression. So,
one
go ahead.
thing I do want to touch on real quick that you've touched on it like 2 or 3 times, talking about the divide of like left and right and
Mhm.
the rural areas versus the city areas or the
Suburban,
urban. Yeah, the suburban, urban,
yeah,
rural.
Appalachia,
I've lived in all of them, man.
yeah.
And I can tell you right now, the only GOP people that are really against cannabis are our elected officials. Because think
Mhm.
about it like this. Yeah, a lot of our state is country, right?
Yeah,
Middle of nowhere, to say it
let
nicely.
them know. Let them know.
Middle butt fuck nowhere. It's literally like you got like signs that say like hell is real on your way through Ohio. Like that is a real sign. Like saying
Can
like
you protect
crazy
me?
wild stuff.
Can you protect me, because people be getting on me because I go on Ohio and Columbus so hard, but I'm like, y'all have to understand. Like,
Uh,
people in Ohio be like, nobody can talk about Ohio but us. But
bro,
Ohio's insane.
we had Nazis in both Columbus and in Cleveland recently, and I'm not talking like go punch a Nazi. I'm talking like legitimate, like dressed up in Nazi garb,
Yeah.
like walking through the streets. Like Ohio's wild, man. Now, don't get me wrong. I can guarantee you those guys got their ass beat later, especially because I know Afro Man actually pointed out who 2 or 3 of them were. I can guarantee you those guys probably got their ass. It probably wasn't black dudes. Um, People don't like that shit. Really don't like that shit. But so like what I was getting at is throughout all of Ohio, like you have the country. It's
All right.
farmers, right? You know who loves cannabis? Farmers.
Yeah.
That's your voter base.
All right.
That's what a lot of these guys don't understand when like Matt Huffman and all these guys are you live in like country areas, dude. You
Right.
gotta understand that the people that elected you in are farmers.
Mhm.
What would fit perfectly into the rotation crops of soybean, hay, and corn? Hemp.
We hey,
Like even if you're just growing it for like literal industrial use and you're
right.
literally focused on the stalks,
Right.
the amount of things that helps to replenish your soil. I mean, like I said in testimony, like we could be using it to help clean up East Palestine, and then
Mhm.
potentially using those hemp fibers for
Talk
something we
talk
that's
about
it.
that too, man. I know I don't wanna Ohio has a lot of issues, but this is,
Yeah.
I mean, East Palestine, and so we have these things, and it happens, and then it goes under, and then something else big happens. But Ohio is riddled with these type of things, right? And oftentimes we don't have a lot of platforms to go on these things, right? The news is only going to cover so much, right? And so on these long platforms, please let people know what East Palestine, what happened to East Palestine, and then how cannabis hemp can help,
So
with
I'll be real. I
remediation.
think East Palestine's big enough that people in the national conversation still are aware of it. I don't
Yeah.
think it's talked about enough, but people are aware of it. I mean, dude,
Oh
I just
yeah,
dropped my
it got big
vaccine
news for
here
sure.
like last week, and I can guarantee you there's a thing in there that talks about East Palestine Relief Fund, like because
Yeah.
it's that bad.
Yeah.
Um,
And I
so
mean,
what
there's been a lot
happened?
of YouTube documentaries too. Like people have been going to East Palestine and doing documentaries and interviewing folks as well. So
It's because it's the only way that we can get this news out there. I mean, in
right.
all reality, that's why independent media, all of these independent medias have been popping up and popping up in very large number.
Hmm.
Um, all the stuff Wolves and Finance just popped out. He's
Hmm.
considered a smaller YouTuber as far as
Hmm.
like that category goes, and he's got like 377,000 followers.
Mm.
So like people are aware. That's
Right.
finance. Like how many people are really interested in finance?
Well, shit, we all need money.
Apparently a lot.
It's
Apparently at
money.
least 377,000 on a low end. So,
Right.
but yeah, so East Palestine, there was a train derailment. That
Hmm.
was the one where the government officials went in there and instead of evaluating the situation and thinking clearly, apparently they must have been smoking their own stuff and it wasn't weed because they decided to let all these chemicals burn up. They
Right.
intentionally caused it to go on fire. They released it into the atmosphere. It rained down. It went into the waters. It went into the rivers. It went into the groundwater. And once again, country area, a lot of
Mm.
people, they have a tap, they have a well. They
Right.
don't
Mm.
it's not city water. Like it's
Right.
not treated, my dude. Like this is dangerous. This is really,
Mm.
really dangerous. The number of cancers that have risen in that area is substantial. They didn't even evacuate the area right away. They
Mm.
waited a little bit before they evacuated it, and then they tried bringing people in way too early.
Right.
Like it's caused a lot of health issues. Like you said, you can look up a lot of the documentaries. It's not good. But so
Mm.
where we're at with it now, even today, the crops over there are all messed up. The waterways are messed up. It's still got all these chemicals in it.
Right.
So the way that hemp or cannabis, which is the same plant, can work to help clean up that area is
Hmm.
it's a bioaccumulator, which means that that's why it's so important that we check our weed for heavy metals and pesticides and all that stuff because it accumulates all of that in the buds and everything else.
Hmm.
So what we could do is we could grow a massive amount of hemp there, clean up that soil block by block by block. We could do the first one, see how it works. If it cleans up the soil, cool. We move on and we scale it out.
Hmm.
Because again, what it's going to do is it's bioaccumulator. It's going to take up all the dirty shit out of the soil and put all the good stuff back into the soil as it dies.
Hmm. Right.
So we
Also
can do
cleans the air, right? It's an air purifier because again,
oh,
all those chemicals when they blew it up went into the sky.
oh yeah. And I'm sure it's probably going to do that to the waterways too, just especially if
Right.
you put it right next to it and put it along the waterways. I'm sure it would
Hmm.
help with that too. I
Right.
mean, there's a plethora of ways to do it, but it's just
So essentially, we should just be throwing weed everywhere, right? Like we should.
over
We
there.
just need a lot
I
of hemp
mean,
seeds and
over there especially, like
yeah,
genuinely.
for
Like I
sure.
would like to see like a full scale, like legitimate, like blind, like a test of like the soil over here, like 2 miles away, and then the soil over here 2 miles away,
Right.
and then like literally just grow like a shit ton over here and
Hmm.
leave this alone, and then do soil samples on it like monthly, and
Right.
just see how things level out. Because I
Yeah.
mean, like I'm not guaranteeing it, but like yo, like what else? What other option do we have? You know, they
Right.
even have to clean up nuclear test sites, right?
Yeah.
Like the only country in the world that doesn't use hemp to clean up nuclear radiation test sites is Japan.
Mm.
That's it.
Right. Yeah,
So I
we're
mean,
just, test dummies for America, right? And these companies,
yeah,
essentially.
in a lot,
Casualties.
yeah, in a lot of ways. But yeah,
So yeah.
so
Oh, go ahead.
w- where were we at?
So East
Holy
Palestine
Palestine.
and the hemp, and then let people know we were talking about obviously going the process of getting to SB56, right? Going through like
Yep,
we
yep,
we
yep.
literally were testifying, listening in the state house
Mhm.
to what these politicians were saying. They said multiple times that citizens didn't know what they voted for,
Yeah,
right? Like that came up multiple times. They said they would rather have children drink alcohol than have weed, which now is legal for parents and guardians to give their kids alcohol at a restaurant or bar,
No,
apparently.
did you see what the Rooster posted yesterday about
About
Matt
Matt
Huffman?
Huffman? Yeah, yeah.
Says that he
I
hates
saw that
kids.
today. He hates kids, yeah. A
He
lot of
hates
people do,
kids,
man. A lot of these
but
people
it's
are
all about the
weirdos, man.
kids.
Yeah, but it's all about the kids.
That's why he'd rather have them drink alcohol
Yeah.
than smoke
Well
weed because
well,
he
and
knows
then
that it's more dangerous. So he doesn't
yeah.
care.
Yeah, and it's predatorial, right? Like, there's so many predatory things that come about with the alcohol industry, right? You get somebody, a little drunk, and now you can take advantage of them, and they forget, they don't remember, right? And so there's
Yeah,
just so many, the cannabis is going to open your consciousness up, right? It's going to make you more aware, it's going to make you more balanced, and you're not going to allow that. So it makes sense, but that's why we got to get these old weirdos out of there, man, because it's
agreed. That's
it's
why it's
sick.
so important. We focus on the national election, like they've got us distracted with like
Mhm,
the ICE stuff, but in all reality, we shouldn't be paying so much attention to the federal. Like, yes, the ICE stuff is
mhm.
extremely important. We need to know our rights. You need to know,
Yeah,
like, talk to a lawyer.
mhm.
Everyone.
Yeah,
There are plenty of lawyers out there right now on YouTube that are talking about what your rights are, how you can act, what you have the ability to do, whether you're here legally or not. Like,
mhm.
ICE is violating them. So,
For
like,
sure.
but that's the big thing in the
Yep.
air. We can't affect that for another 3 years federally.
Mhm,
Right now, we have the opportunity to fix our state,
mhm.
and we can do it locally and statewide, and that will help with all that federal BS.
Right.
You look at what's going on in Minnesota right now, they're starting to fight back. Their state,
Mhm.
local, and all of those officials, they're starting, like, the police are starting to fight back. The police are like, yo, our off-duty officers are getting like harassed. They
Yeah.
drove by an ICE van, and until they said that they're PD, they
Mm.
were being like really egregiously violated of their rights.
Yeah.
Lady tried pulling her phone out, was knocked out of her hand. You can't do that. As a
Right.
police officer, you are legal, as a citizen, you are legally allowed to, both in Ohio and federally, there are Supreme Court cases that state that you are allowed to videotape a police officer in their duty.
Right. They work
Them
for us.
stopping you.
Like,
They're supposed to be public servants,
yeah.
not active duty service.
Taxpayer dollars. And
Mm-hmm.
the billionaires ain't paying their taxes. So
No, 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 not like we are. That's for sure.
yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, you made a very important point, and that's why I started Ohio Cannabis Report, right? To specifically focus on Ohio, right? There's a lot of national information going on, but there's a lack of hyper focus on where we live. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's like, yeah, you can listen to all this stuff going on up here, but you can't control that, right? The things you can control are at your city, your town, your county, and your state. You can go to the state house. You can get a group of 5 people, 10 people, and go to the state house, meet with your
Mhm.
state representative. They have to meet with you. If they
We had
don't, you vote them out.
we
If
had 20 and then 40 people somewhere along those lines, respectively, both times we testified.
Yeah.
They had to, the second time that we testified, they had to give us a bigger room because people were standing along the walls, and it was
Mhm.
extremely uncomfortable for all of those involved.
Yeah, and can we upgrade, like, the seating, please, at the state house? Like, it's 2026 at this point. Why are we sitting on old wooden benches like we're like
Like antique stuff. I mean, it'd be cool if it was like actually antique, but like I'm
Right.
not trying to sit on antique stuff, man. Like
Right, like, come on, well, then you have people with disabilities, right? You have people that, older folks that are still
Simon
mobile,
was
but
struggling there.
yeah, like, yeah. But again, how many people don't show up because it's not comfortable or, they just
Or
don't
they do it on
feel
a Wednesday that they threw last minute at like
right.
8 a.m. so that way
Yeah,
no one can go.
yeah,
Like, dude, I've taken off 2 different work days to be able to go do all this stuff. Like, it wasn't easy to talk them into like switching my days around, like,
alright.
but it was important to me, so I did it.
Which is your right, right? As a citizen of the state of Ohio, which your company and corporation pays a tax to, right? And they get benefits for having employees, the CEOs and executives. But this is what people in Ohio have to understand. These executives, they don't care, right? They care as long as the lobby and the politicians are on their
Fine.
side. And so, uh, you know, we
Sorry.
really got to understand that point. Oh, you're good. And so that's why it's important for folks to, step up to the state house, right? Like, yeah,
Mhm.
everybody has their own opinions and thoughts about the national news, global news, but what's going on in your state and your city? If people are struggling, if people can't afford to live, if people are lacking healthcare access, access to cannabis. I mean, people are going to Michigan because it's easier to go to Michigan than it is to go to your own state.
And they seen that, and that's why. So
They
this is
made it
where the
illegal.
thing. Yeah, that's one of the things that SB56. The number of times the state of Michigan came up during testimony, both when we were there and when we weren't there, and it was just the elected officials like
Mhm.
Huffman and others and Stewart talking about Michigan because they're so scared of losing their tax dollars to Michigan.
Mhm.
But if they were to make a competitive program, they would not be losing those tax dollars to Michigan.
Right.
Right now, we operate in a limited license state. The same number, sorry, the
Mhm.
number of people that were growers when it was just a med program is probably, if not the exact same as the number of growers
Mhm.
that was in the program. Now,
Yep.
we haven't gotten any new growers. Yeah, we've gotten
Yep.
more dispensaries. Cool.
Mhm.
More
Yep.
outlets for the same growers to sell their products. But I
And they're
don't
all
want
just
those
doing
products.
different brands.
And I can tell you, dude, I wouldn't buy even the good ones, even the ones that aren't part of OCAN. It's really hard for me to buy their products because I know too much.
Yeah.
Like the
Well,
more
because
you know about,
they're trying to play within the scope of the structure and the system, right? So if you got the big dogs, the big boys, and they're creating the rules, regulations, and all the things, if you're a small mom and pop, which we know there are some, you have to abide by these same rules and regulations. There's no marketing and advertising. There's no delivery. Like there's so many different hurdles that you have to jump over. And then a lot of the processors are struggling because if you're only a processor, where are you getting your biomass from, right? So there's a lot of
uh,
those issues as well, where you have some people that only got the processing license and weren't able to get the cultivation.
and another example of how like you could very clearly tell how heavily OCAN influenced this bill. You want to know what the few winners of this bill are? OCAN.
Hmm.
All the big operators, so level one operators under issue two would have gotten 25,000 square feet, something like
Hmm.
that. Under SB56, you know what they get? 100,000 square feet. Level two operators, same thing. Not the same amount, but like they're getting substantially more square footage gross space than they would have gotten under just issue two. So we got our rights restricted. We got told that you're not allowed to go buy in New York. You're not allowed to go buy anywhere else. In fact, if you go on a tourism thing and you come back and you bring product into the state and it's not Ohio labeling and packaging, you're a criminal again.
Hmm.
That's wild. Oh,
Hmm.
if you go to your friend's house and you give them cannabis, not any payment in any way, shape, or form. It's not your primary residence; it's your friend's primary residence, and I gift them product. I'm a criminal.
Hmm.
That's why.
Has to be in the original packaging. So we have home grow. What's original packaging for home grow?
And that question came up, and no one could answer it.
Yeah, because
What
they
the-
don't care, and that's why I mean Ohioans should be rebelling. At this point, like because it's just not this issue, right? Like it's a multitude of issues.
Yes,
I selected cannabis as my issue that I would ride and die for.
same.
Besides, stillbirth and other like infant mortality, maternal
Yeah,
mortality issues, but this has been something because what I understand about cannabis coming from, you and I talk about athletics and stuff, but also healthcare is that cannabis sits at the intersection of a lot of issues, socioeconomic issues. So people
yeah,
being able to make more money, right? People are struggling to find jobs, right? That they can afford. People are struggling with healthcare costs. People
yeah.
are struggling with housing costs. So there's just so many different issues that we don't have
Which
enough jobs. We don't have enough industry. Industry is leaving. Obviously automation, AI, all these things are happening. And then you have cannabis, where now you have only a select few controlling that market. And then the people that are on the legacy side still have to stay underground, right? They still have to do things very low key, which again causes a lot of other issues.
they have to be
Yeah.
even more low key now with SB56.
Yeah.
So I'll be real. Uh, this is again why people should be pissed, way more pissed than what they are. those events that we've all been going to for the last year and a half, 2 years, those are all getting shut down at the end of March if we don't collect the signatures for this voter referendum.
Mm-hmm.
If we get the signatures and we get the state AG approval, SB56 is null and void temporarily until it goes on the ballot next governor election, which is next year. And at that point, we all decide if that bill should pass.
Right.
But like, if that doesn't happen, we're screwed. All that legacy stuff goes away again.
Right.
We start going backwards.
Yeah.
Like we start getting recriminalization. Like things that we passed 10, 15 years ago for decrim laws are now being considered worse. Like those crimes
fines as well.
Yeah, it's recriminalizing the things that we decriminalized 15 years ago.
Right.
Like mind blowing. Like if you get caught with under 100 grams, it was like a minor misdemeanor. It's not like that under SB56.
Right.
So it's just mind blowing. Like people should be pissed, really pissed. Because again, like you said, this isn't just cannabis either. This is like they're doing this with a majority of our rights. That's why I find so much like happiness watching these First Amendment auditors win like Supreme Court cases. Shout out to Long Island Audit, First Amendment Protection Agency. A lot of people give him shit in the industry, but like because he goes to dispensaries and records.
Yeah, and you've done some of that work too, man. Let people know what that's been like, because I think that's obviously admirable. You know, a lot of us just on here independent, you know, we're using our name, you know, but again, we have to fight back. But let people know what all that stuff is about.
I feel like auditor is just the new age journalist. That's I mean, it's the guy who's going there, and it's
all got cameras now.
You get to see all of it now. I mean, like, dude, Long Island Audit has uncovered some really insane corruption in the government. Rooster from Ohio has uncovered a lot of corruption, man. Like, they can't stand him at the state house. Like DJ Burns, like popped up in so many people's fucking phones. I can guarantee it. Like
DJ doing this thing, man. I rock with DJ.
When I sat and met with Steinenberg, the first person he asked me if we knew was Rooster. First person. He's now the whip for the Democratic Party. So, like,
well, and what a lot of these politicians, they have failed to understand the power of the internet and social media. You know what I mean? So a lot of them, you know, you know what I mean? And it's direct to consumer. And so even with like what people have to understand about like big news media, even local news media, like a few years ago, they shut down a lot of their operations, right? So there was a lot of reporters. You look at the newspapers, all of these things have been bought out by private equity, big firms. And so what happens is they cut staff. You know what I mean? So now you start cutting the staff. Now you have less reporters, you have less photogs, less videographers. And so now people have to understand we are the ones that have to be the ones to come out and create that, right? You know, I said it before, and one of my wife's coworkers got mad at me because he's like, "No, everybody shouldn't be a journalist." I was like, "Yes, I mean most people are on the scene before the news gets there."
Hold up. Does he not understand what the First Amendment is? Well, like the very first one, the most important one, not just your freedom of speech, that's freedom of press. And that means everyone has freedom of press. No, you don't need a press badge to be press.
And with these now, right, like we all have 4K cameras that can get on the internet, live stream. When something happens, you know, usually we're getting secondhand information, right? We're getting a secondhand account. The news is listening to the same scanner as the police and the fire department, right? So if you show up on the scene before the police or before the news, you are the news.
Do you follow the Cleveland Remembrance page?
I don't. What is that on Instagram?
It's on Instagram. If you look up Cleveland Remembrance page, they're on the scene way quicker than all of these other guys. They're the guys a lot of the news media like Fox 8 and stuff get their information from is from the Cleveland Remembrance page. That shooting in Edgewater, they were there.
Yeah.
All this corruption that goes on in Cleveland, someone's always hitting them up. I can guarantee it's not just the main guy that's running that page. It's probably at all these places. It's people reaching out to them because of the fact that they've created that platform for people to be like, yo, I seen this today. Here, take this video. Make it go viral. Make
Hmm.
people be aware of what's going on in our city.
Yeah.
Like,
There's 11.8 million people in the state of Ohio. Like Ohio's not, a small state. There's a lot of people spread all over. I mean, there's people in different locales, like we talked about. So you can be in rural Ohio and it feels like you're in a whole nother country, right? Like you can be in
for real.
Cleveland, Cincinnati, versus at like going to school in Athens. Like I felt like I was in a little bubble, right? Like in this,
Man,
it was a hippie bubble. So I
I
fell
was
in
gonna
love with
say
weed.
Athens is like the mecca for Ohio for cannabis.
Man,
I think people
well,
don't
over
realize.
77% voted for issue 2 in Athens.
Yeah,
So that's where I really fell in love with weed and just the community of it all.
that's healthy, man.
And then I got out here and I'm like, damn, everybody don't like weed like me, like the people in Athens. Because the people in Athens are doing it the right way. You got the Cannabis Museum where they're doing events every
Oh,
weekend, educating the community on growing. It's not just selling weed, it's actually growing the weed, teaching people how to make their butters.
yeah.
You have Sarah Koya, you got Ohio boys. So shout
Shout
out
out
to
to
all the people in Athens, man. Shout out to all the people that have taken the courage, man, to be forward facing in these times, right? Like to challenge the state representatives, to challenge the governor, to challenge these cannabis companies, to challenge OCAN, because that's what changes things,
yeah.
right? We have
And
to
to be
hold these
real,
people accountable.
a lot of those guys are involved in all of this. Like this referendum is not like it's a grassroots effort, but it does have a decent amount of money behind it. They do have people that are like paid to collect signatures. But right now, we're also one of the big things that's really important is if you want to be involved in this and you want to help collect signatures, reach out to Dan the Cannaman.
Mhm.
He's also part of the committee. He's been organizing a lot of this stuff. He's taking a lot of stuff on, and I'm super proud of him. He's the guy who also testified at the state house.
Powerful testimony.
Yeah, he's the when he spoke, they listened real hard. He immediately came out and was like, "Look, I'm a former alcoholic. I use cannabis to help me get off of alcohol. I don't touch it anymore." Um, they listened. They heard that, and everything after that he said, they paid attention. They asked some questions. Uh, so
And
there's
that's
no
why people have to share their story too, because you never know. Again, we all come from different places. And so when we all step up there, we all have conscious and bias, right? So you never know which story is going to pull on the heartstrings of these politicians, right? Because they can be cold, they can be callous, but at the end of the day, there is something in there that can connect with these people. And
yeah,
so you might be the one, you might be the story, you might be the nephew, you might be the cousin, you might be the grandson that could spark the change, that could have somebody thinking a little bit different, that has power. And,
yeah,
and so that comes from storytelling, that comes from, your personal experience with alcohol, with drug addiction, whether it's you, a family member, with trauma, right? We have a lot of veterans, right? We have so many veterans that just want to try to live as normal of a life as possible, right?
yeah.
Many of us could never imagine what it's like to be in the battlefield, having fucking bullets going by your, or having a friend that gets, killed by an ID or something, right? So it's so many of these people that stay hidden, right? They deal with their traumas how they best
Mhm.
know how to, but also they disassociate themselves from society a lot of times because they're different, right? They have
So
triggers that will kill you. So, a lot of people have to understand what cannabis does for people in that healing process and that giving people their life back, in a lot of these different things. So, and that's, I think it's important for people to share their stories because again, it can be scary. I know from firsthand experience, but once you share your story and then other people connect with you and realize, damn, like my story is similar to that. Now you have somebody else that opens up and starts to share their story, and then it's a rolling effect. So that's why it's important to share your story and be vulnerable sometimes.
yeah, do you know a lot of veterans?
Yeah, I got a few in my family. I mean, I
How
got
many of those veterans would want to sign up to something to be, and I quote, be put on a list? A lot of them wouldn't, right? A
no,
lot of them would
yeah.
be like, I don't want to be on any list.
Yeah, a lot of them don't wanna be seen.
Do you know how many veterans won't sign up for the med program because A, they're scared of losing their health care through the VA,
Mhm.
B, they're scared of being put on a list, see, like, for a plethora of reasons,
Scared of
they
losing
won't
their
touch the med
guns.
program. They won't touch the med program. They
Yeah.
won't touch the rec program. But you know where they can get access is through gifting in the legacy market, which is
Mhm.
something that gets shut down by SB56.
Yep.
So the people that propose this bill say that, oh, I'm pro-veteran, but they're not. In fact, the guy that I can't remember if it was Stewart or if it was Huffman. I want to say it was Stewart that claims to be a veteran. Well,
Yep,
Jamie,
Stewart. Yep.
just a vet one on Instagram,
Mhm.
he knows the veteran community because he's
Mhm.
very, very active and an advocate, not just in the cannabis space, but in the veteran space. This dude's
Mhm.
gone to DC and protested with other veterans.
Mhm.
Um, Stewart is not very well received in the veteran community. He is
Yeah.
very frowned upon, and things like this are why. 'Cause
And
again,
do
like
you
it,
remember that one time we were testifying and he came in all disheveled and it looked like he had just came off a bender? That
that
was
was I think that was Huffman, yeah, or was that Stewart?
no,
Stewart
that
was
was
the one.
Stewart. It was Stewart that one
Yeah,
time. He
I mean they
came
both
in.
kind of.
Yeah.
It's not great.
Yeah,
They
they're not a
definitely
good
look
look
like they blow coke in the bathroom.
for sure. Yeah,
Like
it was funny. Rooster did a video talking about why is there a chair in the bathroom? It was But that's also why, like, people gotta understand too, the state house, if you are a member of the state or just a community, you can go to the state house. You don't
Mhm.
even need an ID, I think, right? Like, you could just literally walk in, you go through security, the state patrol. The state patrol way cooler than the police too, by the way, most times.
And I will also say this again falls back to the First Amendment auditor people and the rooster and things like that. So a lot of these people are going to try and stop you and tell you, "Oh, well, you can't video record in here." This is a public forum.
Mhm,
You don't need permission. You don't need to get consent, written consent to film in those rooms. You don't need
mhm,
that. Unless it's a restricted area that's
mhm,
specifically labeled as restricted area. I don't care if they have no photos when you first walk in that door. I don't care if it's the state house. I don't care if it's your local county courthouse. You can't film in the courtrooms without permission, but like the public areas, you're
mhm,
legally, that's again your First Amendment right, freedom of press. You say, I'm
mhm.
a journalist and I'm working on a story. They don't need any more information.
Free press,
Yeah.
free
So
press.
like obviously like you can't be in the bathroom. That's a restricted area.
Yeah, let's
But
not be weird,
yeah.
Soon as they come out though,
Yeah.
drying the hands off.
I mean sometimes they do. I've seen some in there that just didn't, and that is really fucking disgusting. The fact that our state elected officials don't always wash their hands is kind of nasty.
Man, see, the thing is we also gotta stop giving people so much power, right? Like, these are human beings, these are people
Mhm.
with a job, people most times, their elected position isn't even their main job, right? Like, it's their backup job, and it's something that is going to help them get into another job because if they scratch the itch of one of these big business donors, they don't care. They'll take the check, they'll screw you, and then once the people find out, you get them out, but they have a job. They have a cushion
Yup.
job. They got a bank account filled with cash that they don't have to give back. They done took some of y'all money
Look at what
to
happened with
support
House
them.
Bill 6. Look at what happened with the electrical stuff.
Yeah.
Like, how long did it take before that dude, Larry Householder, finally
Mhm.
went to prison for it?
Right.
It took a long time. That
Yeah.
wasn't quick.
Right. And he's still fighting it. And there's people that are still in a part of the state legislature that were a part of that. The
Did you
governor's still
see
there.
Les Wexner still donating very large amounts of money to the GOP?
Of course. You got to do something with that money.
Les
And
Wexner,
they're not going to put it to good use.
the guy that gave more money to Jeffrey Epstein than anyone else has given money to our state GOP. That doesn't concern people. That
Yeah.
concerns me. Like
Yeah.
the football, didn't the OSU alumni just recently get the Wexner Center changed or petitioned to change it?
I know they've been advocating outside of Ohio, or Ohio State, the football facilities. I think they did two press conferences about it, because again, Wexner's name is on Ohio State's Woody Center where they practice, the Ohio State Buckeyes, since everybody loves the Buckeyes. But these are former athletes that were. There's actually a great document. I mean, it's not wouldn't say it's great, but like there's a documentary on Netflix called Surviving Ohio State where they talk about this doctor that was sexually assaulting thousands of student athletes,
Yep.
kind of like the Larry Nassar case with the Olympic team, very similar.
Yes.
So there was men, young boys, you got to think college age kids, 18 to 23. When you're an athlete, you have doctors, you have team doctors. And basically what these team doctors tell you is it's Bible, right? Like you don't know any different. So they were basically like getting sexually assaulted, fingered, all types of stuff, right? Up the butt, the
No,
anal, like, and obviously they would say like, oh yeah, you got a hernia or something like that. And so this was thousands of athletes. And of course, when you're young, you don't know, right? You don't know that this is not normal, or you just like, this is what
you're
I'm
not in
supposed to
school to be a
do,
doctor. You're in school to play football.
right?
Like, and
So, or
not.
wrestle, because they were going like these
Oh
dudes
yeah,
would, they work with all of the teams. So it's the football team that has 100+ players, it's the soccer team, it's the basketball team, men's and women, it's field hockey, it's lacrosse, it's gymnastics, it's crew rowing, all of these sports.
yeah.
And so again,
And I don't even
obviously,
know if that dude was ever held accountable. I think he ended up
he killed himself,
committed himself in
awful
prison.
stuff for
And it's
sure.
like, oh, this is weird,
Yeah,
awful.
and I
And
mean,
again,
and
this is
they
another
typically
thing
do
that the
that.
Roosters talked about, and he's confronted a lot of these politicians about, and the amount of politicians that
Yeah, giving
defend,
their money back.
they're like, well, I don't know nothing about it. I ain't looked into it. Like, bull. If you haven't looked into it, then you need to. I'm bringing it up to you. I'm coming
Right.
back tomorrow. You better have looked into it. Go watch that doc, dude. Like,
Yeah.
seriously. Like, this is wild.
But it shows you too how out of touch these, politicians are, and how they've been allowed to be. They've been taking money from foreign governments, right? And all sorts of things for kickbacks. But again, this is
When we
why
went and testified to this, I'm telling this publicly for the first time. When we went to the second round of testimonies in the bigger
Mhm.
room, Jamie Collender was over there. I stopped and talked to him because for a second there I thought I was in his district, but his district line's a little different.
Gerrymandered.
Yeah, it's like a hair off from where I'm at. So I brought it up to him, like, yo, man, I think you might be my rep, and yada yada yada. And he was talking to me, and one of the things that I brought up is I'm like, man, I wouldn't want to go over to Israel right now. That doesn't seem very safe. And then you know what he brought up? Oh, actually, in the summer, a bunch of us are going on a trip over there. And then he looked over at his one colleague who was also on that committee, saying, "You're going too, right?" Yeah, I'm going. I'll be there.
Yeah.
That's
And you
wild.
and you know where a lot of the defense contracts and money for artificial intelligence and startup companies and all types of stuff is going? Right to them. And they got free healthcare.
Yeah.
So,
Yup.
again, people better start doing their research, because again, it's hurting you, right? And it's hurting all of us, because again, we're having a lot of infighting with different social issues, where
Yeah.
many of us are dealing with the same shit, you know?
No,
And
like
so,
here, for example, like the AI, you touched on the AI thing. I'll be real, I'm pro AI, but I think there's common sense regulations that every industry needs, and one of them being is maybe you probably shouldn't be using up all the natural resources to cool your system when there's other resources that you can import. And I know how much money these companies have, and I know
oh
that they
yeah.
can very easily import mineral oil, copious amounts of mineral oil to cool
Mhm.
their systems instead of using the lake water, instead of
Right.
using our stream water.
Mhm.
There's no regulations on it. None.
Yeah. And the
Instead, the
EPA is
regulators are
working to
focused
change
on this
that too.
AI person. It's not at that level where we need to focus on personhood. What we need to
Mhm.
focus on is what's going on with these data centers. Like that is
Mhm.
the actual issue.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, part of that is they need to be building their own energy infrastructure, and part of the reason why they don't is because the permit process, doing all that, obviously it's gonna cost them more money, but again, they keep saying jobs, jobs, jobs. It's not creating jobs for a lot of Ohioans, right? You have to train people how to build. It takes time to train people how to weld and do all of the infrastructure work. So what are these companies doing? They're bringing out outside help that do these data centers all over the country, all over the world. So guess what? They go from one data center to the next. And the people here in the state aren't getting those jobs and contracts like that, because we don't really have the talent,
Yeah.
enough talent to do all of that work.
And to
So
bring that
again,
back to SB56 on the jobs aspect of it, If it was about the jobs, we wouldn't have passed a bill like SB56 because it kills 6,000 businesses, not 6,000 jobs. That kills 6,000 businesses. Now, with each one of those businesses, there's a manager, there's a business owner, there's multiple ground level employees that are working it. Like that's at least five positions each sits there. Each
Yeah.
one of those businesses, at least.
Yeah.
If it was about the jobs, they wouldn't be doing this.
Well, and they try to a part of the issue is too with SB56 was it gives permission to employers to now drug tests unsolicited. You fail the drug test and then you lose out on your benefits. You don't get unemployment benefits if you fail a drug test, right? And
You're
so again,
immediately disqualified for it. Yep.
you could have smoked a week ago, 2 weeks
Yeah.
ago, and
Off duty.
oh yeah, off the clock. You know what I mean? You show up to work every single day, you do your job, but now your company has implemented this random drug testing policy again. And now
Yep.
you fail the drug test and now you're out of a job and you're out of unemployment, right? Which also leads you back to the illicit market because now you're going to be like, well, now I got to find a way to make some money.
But that's also, again, coming back to crimes and becoming more criminal again, which is this whole cyclical trap that they have us stuck in. Like I said, people should be pissed. And this is how we fight back is with this voter referendum. Like this is bigger than cannabis. This is the first step in us as we the people being able to fight and push back and take back this power. Like we have long-term and we have short-term strategies that we need to be working on with this. The short term right now, immediately in the next 30 days, is finding a register to vote at your current address. If you want to collect signatures, reach out to Dan the Canna Man. Ask on Instagram. Ask how you can help collect signatures. We'll put you through the free training. You'll be able to do that. We need all throughout the state. So places like Dayton, if you're in Cincinnati, if you're in Columbus, perfect. We need you. The next step is getting that voter referendum signatures. We have to get that because that will stop the bill in its tracks. That will mean that all of these things that we've been talking about will be null and void until it goes on the ballot. At that point, we need to collectively get together and make sure that the messaging on this is very clear, that SB56 kills jobs, SB56 pulls away consumer rights, SB56 recriminalizes the plant. SB56 is the start of them controlling us more. So the voter referendum is the start of us being able to take that power back, because after this, people are going to see this is possible. That we can do this on all kinds of issues. It's not easy, but we can do it. And if we can do it with this, where they're pushing back on us, the state AG should not have denied that voter referendum the first time through. And if they deny it on the second time, the next step is either we have to repeal the entire law, or we have to have a writ of I think it's Mamadus or something like that. I can't remember the word, but it is basically suing the AG to force us to be allowed to have this. But yeah, like we got to get this done because this is the first step to really fighting back. Is if we can do this with this, a lot of these news outlets are being very pessimistic, saying, well, they couldn't do it with House Bill 6, so why would they be able to do it with that? Well, because the public isn't looking at House Bill 6. Most people know that we all voted in weed. We wanted weed to be regulated like alcohol. I think we all pretty much know what that means. We expect breweries, we expect local businesses, we expect places that I can go and consume my products, just like alcohol. Microbreweries, like the ability for home grow, like little things like that. We're not getting any of that. SB56 undoes everything we did, and the public's going to view it as such. They view it as, so you told me we got a chance to vote on it, we voted on it, and now you're telling us that we didn't vote right?
Yep.
So yeah, this is the first step. This is the big step.
Yep. And we're in different times too, man. Like, I think people have to understand, after COVID, like I feel like people are still in like that COVID slump, you know what I mean? Where, we were all in the house, which is a very real thing, but we are not in that same space anymore. And so I think people have to get back comfortable coming outside and connecting, around common decency and good things, right? Like we haven't even really celebrated issue 2 like that, right? Like one of my things is like, I had this idea I pitched last night on the show, and I was like, man, we should have some type of cannabis rally, where we all come to the state house, bring some food, bring the dogs, roll up and just have a good time, have some music, you know what I mean? Have some
Yeah.
speakers,
I,
because it's the people's house, man. At some point, the people got to take the house back, you
yup.
know? And I
I
think
think
cannabis is one of those things that could do that.
I think if we organized it correctly, I think that if we did that, especially using that for signature collection towards the
Mhm.
very end, if we
Mhm.
really need that last little bump,
Right.
I think it'd be great.
For
I
sure.
mean, people show up to sessions all the time. High
Right.
Intentions has great sessions. If you look at Ennio Rosenfest, like that was a huge sesh.
Mm.
You go to bro, if you go to Michigan and you start going up to there to those events, every event's a sesh.
Right.
I'll be real, man. I don't even go to these events anymore to like get products or anything like that. All the people that I would be getting products from, I already know. I'm
Mhm.
going there to hang out.
For
I'm
sure.
going
And
there to
have
chill
a
with
good
the dude.
time.
Yeah, it's a sesh.
And that's the problem. Like it's like capitalism, everything is just it's like I like to enjoy weed, man. Like this part of it is just like it's just been a byproduct. But for me, like it's the weed to me. Like if I don't have to do this and I could just smoke and we all gonna be good and people could share and I would shut down Ohio Cannabis Report, right?
Yeah,
But
I
it's
feel
like
it. I
we're
wanted to
not
do
even
reviews. I wanted to
yeah,
do education. I didn't want to have to do this. I want
right.
to tell people about how each terpene can affect certain different types of cancer and
You
how
still
like
need to be doing that, by the way. You need to come on
it's
our
hard
show.
to invest the time. I'm just one dude.
Well,
That's the
yes.
problem.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I've been getting fat because I don't even have time to go do jujitsu the way that I want to. Like it's not easy. So the amount
Well,
of time that
again,
I'm spending on all of
inflation, right? So cost of everything is going up. People got to make a living. You got to work. You got
this,
family. You got bills. And so again, like I think, cannabis offers other opportunities for income, streams of income. You could do more events openly, right? Like you can have
yeah,
more of, like those events, like what? I feel like those should be all over the city, all over the state,
yeah.
jujitsu and weed. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, I'm trying, and that's another thing. Like, I would love to be able. So I have an idea for a cannabis infused jiu-jitsu competition inspired by like high rollers. I've worked with a company up in Michigan whose name I won't say because they are terrible, but it's another grappling infused, cannabis infused grappling situation.
mm.
I'd love to see cannabis infused football events or cannabis
For sure.
infused whatever. You know what I mean? Like
Basketball,
golf.
pickleball, you can do
I mean,
anything.
it's,
Golf,
the Ohio Classic was a golf
right?
thing, but it wasn't.
Yeah,
It was all the business owners and stuff
yeah,
like that. It wasn't a cool hangout spot.
yeah. That joint was snobby.
Yeah,
And then the guys that they didn't even talk, right? So well, they had like an info session, and then like the
you
guys are on
know,
the golf course doing their thing. I didn't stay the whole event, but yeah, I mean these guys are, I heard people calling them Chads. You
they,
know?
bro. There was this guy I seen on Instagram, like the superest of boots, that had like an image of like the four of the dudes at the golf thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't remember what it was they said, but basically like some Chad shit that I could see them actually saying, and I'm like, damn,
Yeah, and
this is
I mean,
fucking
we
great.
don't never see these dudes, right? Like they don't ever post, like you don't know who they are. They're kind of like they're anonymous, but apparently they're the cannabis industry and they're making money. You have Adrian Robbins, who is like the head of OCAN, who's the mouthpiece, who has
Oh,
been, the PR and communications and crisis control, and that's why we're giving her hell on these interwebs because we gotta make her work for her money. You know what I mean? So, again,
and
we
I
have
can
to
tell
hold people
you.
accountable.
There's a lot of people that are part of OCAN that don't want to be part of OCAN. They do have anonymous accounts. Um, I've had a lot of people reach out to me because I've been putting a lot of these OCAN operators on blast.
Mhm.
Specifically, Amplify, the guy Andy Rayburn is in large part behind OCAN.
Yeah,
Um,
and he runs Buckeye, right? It's Buckeye and
that's the
Amplify,
one
yeah.
I used to work for. Yeah, that's the one I helped build. And he pulled the wool over my eyes so hard, dude. He claimed it's a family here. It's this that. They don't care about you. They're just like every other corporation. They just want you to do as many things as they can get you to do. And I
Mhm.
did. I did. When they got rid of me, they had to replace me with seven. My role got split up between seven people.
Big dog.
Wild. But like, but that's how they want you to do it. They want
Yeah,
you to be, but then they look at you like you're just super replaceable. And it's like, I am. I
Yeah.
don't understand this at all.
Yeah.
Like,
Losing good employees, is that's the worst thing you could do. And that's what's mind-boggling, right? Like a lot of times the best employees don't even get really taken care of the best,
no,
And a lot of times you're not even asking for, that much more. You know what
no.
I
The
mean?
most I made when I was there is 18.49, and that was you're not gonna be a manager because you're not a yes man, but this is your shut the fuck up pay.
So
And
what's
I'm
the
like, that's not
average
even
pay at
good shut
these
the fuck
places?
up pay.
What are people getting paid out here? I'm not really I tell people
It ain't
I'm
that
not a
much.
part of the industry. I'm
It ain't.
media.
It's gotten better recently. I think there's a couple people in like the low 20s, but that's the highest I heard is like maybe
Mhm.
22. And it was usually like a high end dispensary where they're selling shit tons of stuff, and they're usually not part of OCAN.
Right.
I think it was like locals or something like that that was doing that. I think
Okay.
at the dispensary right now up the street, I think they're making like 19, maybe 20 and plus tips.
Right.
But a lot of these tips are also split between the managers, which is also illegal. So
Right.
like companies have already gotten sued for it.
Mm.
It- There's so much of the industry is so much of a headache. But yeah, OCAN. So Andy Rayburn, I have people reaching out to me telling me that, like, say for example, um, I have a buddy who owns Vapor House. They're a head shop, smoke shop. They originally and mainly are meant for like vapes and e-cig stuff like that. But
Mhm.
then the state made that super difficult. So like they dabbled in other things such as glass and or THCA flower.
Mhm.
Uh, they recently had the sheriff come into them and tell them that, hey, you guys can't sell that here anymore, even though you legally are allowed. We're starting to crack down on this stuff. If this isn't gone by next week, we're going to come in with a warrant and raid you.
Mm.
Uh, they also said to them that in large part it's because of Amplify right next door that just opened up,
Mm.
who has it really close in with a lot of these police officers.
Of course.
Mayor Morley used to come and tour the facility all the time before he passed away, RIP. But like, so they're close with all these local guys. They know what's going on, and that's why they're doing this. I also have a source who's specifically in OCAN, two of them that have told me this, that have told me that in closed meetings at OCAN, Andy Rayburn not only said that he's going to help prosecute these guys, he's going to fund it. He wants to fund the prosecution of hemp shops. He wants to prosecute his competition. And that's the reality of things. That's fucking scary. I had two sources tell me that.
Yeah, because they don't play fair. They know they can't compete, right? When you know you can't compete, you have to do things to, manipulate the game,
And they
right?
can compete. They just don't want to. They don't
Well,
want to
yeah,
grow better weed. As
of
far as
course.
Andy's concerned, everything they have is quality. And I'm like, bro, I can tell you right now, there's so much of your guys' shit it's so likely to mold out. There's so many things that are just not
But what are
quality.
they doing? What are they doing in the grow process? Let's go in a little depth of just Ohio cannabis. Like, what is, because obviously we're hearing microwave biz, we're hearing all these things, and obviously,
So
again,
what I
go
will
ahead.
say about Buckeye that I will give them credit for is they don't have an X-ray remediation machine. However, most of their moldy buds just go all over to extracts and they blast them. For a
Mm,
long time, they were selling cured bud, which there's live resin and then there's cured flower. Cured flower that gets turned into cured resin.
mhm.
They were taking fresh, frozen, moldy buds, blasting them, and calling them cured resin. Like that's the type of stuff that they do. Um, they're still growing in Rockwool. While I was there, we tested to see if cocoa would be better, and
Mhm.
visually, it was very clear.
Right.
Like cocoa was way better. Like the plant liked the cocoa better,
Yeah.
but because it was dirtier and because it was a little bit more work, because we hadn't figured out an SOP process,
Right.
and because on test results, so like your terpene percentages and THC percentages, it was at most 1% difference. So it just
Mhm.
wasn't worth it to them. And I'm like, you guys are fucking stupid. Holy shit. Like, you guys don't understand what value is in this plant whatsoever.
Right.
How does your bag sell? Sells on look, smell, taste, and effect. Well,
Mhm.
at a dispensary, I can't tell you the effects. I can have a clear glass jar so you can look at it.
Right.
So there's somewhere that you can add value is look. The cocoa could have added the look. They
Right.
didn't care. Adding value, trying to become a better grower is not what they're looking to do.
Hmm.
It improved the smell. The terpenes went up. It wasn't substantial, but it still went up, and every
Right.
little bit adds up.
Right.
So there's another way that you can add value.
Right.
Did they do that? No. Instead, they're suing, or they're going after and prosecuting and attempting to fund prosecution of hemp shop.
Right.
It's killing your competition. It's literally mafia level tactics.
Yeah.
What time is it?
At the state level too.
State
Yeah.
and local.
State and local. Yeah.
145. So I do got to get wrapping up in about 15 minutes here. I do got to
Okay.
get
All good.
that way.
Hey man, I appreciate
Nice
you,
to
you know,
bro.
obviously all of the work you've been doing, man, and
I appreciate
staying
you.
steady,
Dude, you've been
and coming on the show.
your content has been killing it, man. Like I've been sharing more of yours than I've been making of my own because you've been coming for these guys' throats, and I fucking appreciate the shit out of it, dude, so much.
Well,
So
now that I know that people appreciate, I'll keep going. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, what else are we gonna do? Like, I'm a stay-at-home dad, bro. Like,
yeah,
like I keep it 100. Like, I'm a stay-at-home dad. Plus, one of the things that I learned, obviously playing college ball at a high level and then trying out for the NFL, you get to a certain position where you realize, like, oh, the game is the game. You know what I mean? And some of us are here for the right reasons, some of us are here for the wrong reasons, but the cream always rises to the top. And I don't have nothing to hide. I mean, I am somebody that has been I've seen people's lives be destroyed from weed, whether they've lost a child, I've had two friends that have gotten kicked out of professional sports leagues for weed.
yeah. But here's my argument with that. It's not the weed; it's the reaction to the weed. Just
Mhm.
like how with COVID, it wasn't COVID that destroyed our economy. It wasn't COVID that destroyed a lot of families and this.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like don't get me wrong, like it caused a lot of deaths, but the reaction to COVID
Mhm.
caused more deaths than the actual COVID. I can
Right.
guarantee the number of
Well,
suicides.
because as everybody overreacts about everything, but then it's again, it comes back to the media, right? Like if the media
Yeah,
projects, and everybody's just trying to be first or everybody's just trying to be right, it comes back to that. But that's where the sports aspect comes in, right? Like you're used to being s- like pushed out in mass media where like people can assume they know who you are based on just your characteristics from media. And it's like you have no idea where I come from. You don't know none of my struggles. You don't know none of the hurdles that I've had to come over, none of the barriers to be in front of you, right? And so with media, like I had to take my voice back, right? I had to take my ownership back of like, yo, like I use cannabis and I'm a Division 1 athlete. I was a captain. I was a starting athlete. Whole time I'm smoking and nobody really knows. I was drug tested multiple times by the NCAA. I didn't make money from playing college ball. Now they're making money. I was top 20 in the country at one point. I would have been paid. You know what I mean? But then, like, I have all these things where you smoking weed, but I can go get all these pills. I've lost teammates from drug overdoses. I mean, in their mid 20s, right? Like, I
I'd
have friends
imagine.
that,
I'd imagine even at the college level, that's probably where they push you to. Like the doctors are
yeah,
probably pushing pills on you because they.
look at Ohio State. Look at it all starts at the college level. The alcoholism starts at college, right?
OSU is known as a party school.
Well,
Like,
exactly. We were the top 5. We were top 5 the entire time I was there, and then my senior year, we were number 1.
yeah,
And we cracked the top 25 nationally as a football team. So you compound that, and our basketball team was doing good. And so then you have people from all over the state coming to your school to party at your school. Everybody's not going to
and
Ohio State to party.
the wrestling team at OSU has always been pretty good too, to be real. But
Yeah.
Ohio's got the wrestling. It's what it is. The
And we're the
Midwest is
number and we're
all.
the first university of the state. Like, a lot of people don't understand that, and
So,
so what I understood was that I was different from kids that went to Ohio State, right? Like, I'm cool with a bunch of guys that played Ohio State, but they don't move like I move, right? They don't talk because they've been put on that pedestal where they're getting benefits. They have boosters. They have friends that are helping them with business deals. I went to OU where we didn't have the big donors. We didn't have the big handouts. We didn't have the Nike contracts. We weren't driving nice cars. We was getting it out the mud and still competing at the highest level
Yeah,
and smoking the best weed in the fucking state.
I love
I
it.
mean, so again, it
Bro,
allowed me to move a little bit differently. But that's why I move how I move out here. And I want to get more people like me because I'm like, it's just, it's work. It's just like as a wrestler, right? Like you work your technique, you know your skill, you know your discipline. So you can go out into the world and say, you can fuck with me if you want to.
yeah. I'll also say once you see the way in one thing, you see it in everything. Like once you start getting at a high level, it makes, oh, I understand. All I got to do is have this time investment. That's really what it is. Like I
Yeah,
can be the best at whatever. I just got to like really fucking want it. I got to chase it. I got to every single day wake up and that's got to be my
put
goal.
that work in.
But if you do
And
that,
that's all I did. I mean, that's all I've been doing with Ohio Cannabis Report. As long as I keep putting it out, be consistent, right? I
sir,
went away for a little bit. Like people don't know my story. Like me and my wife lost a child, right? I went to the state house the day after we literally lost a child and did a press conference. And people killed me on Reddit not knowing the story, right? But at the end of the day, how many people have the balls, the courage, the gut to actually stand up for what they believe in, no matter what's going on in their life? And so a lot more people need to step up and realize like a lot of people ain't stepping up. A lot of people want other people to do the work, and then you do the work, and then they want some of the benefits, right?
yeah,
Or you do the work and they receive part, and it's like, no, we all have to collectively be a part of this, right?
yeah,
No matter what, you just came off the night shift, man. I appreciate you for getting yourself up and coming on
yeah,
the show. But we like to have real people. I don't want the paid actors. I don't want the politicians. I don't want the big business guys coming on here. Oh, we'll give you $500 and then we'll just say some nonsense just to sell our brand. That's not what
right.
we're about. I'm trying to
Yeah.
get real people, man.
And that's where I think Ohio's different. And I think our community as a whole is different because so many of us think exactly like you think. It's I want to grow my channel. I want to get bigger, but I don't ever want to be that guy like first smoke of the day where I charge like $5,000 to come on. Like, dude, that's ridiculous. And I can tell you some first smoke of the day. Remember that the exclusive Ann Arbor thing that I did, the union strike that was going on that I reported
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Well, that dude told the owner Andrew, "Go ahead, do whatever you want, man. Like, keep it up, keep doing that. Like, go for it." Like,
Right.
don't let those guys with the cameras bother you. Don't let them harass you. Like, you
Yeah.
keep doing you. It's like, bro, they're
Yeah.
literally torturing union workers. They've got a bunny suit hat on and a megaphone shouting sexual slurs at women, and dudes telling him, go ahead, keep doing that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I don't want to be that guy
Yeah. And
ever.
there's a war, right? There's a battle going on, right? You have state legislators, like you said, saying, I don't like children, right? And so there's a real, spiritual warfare and soulless and callousness that's going on where people don't have human dignity to care about women, to care about
Yup,
children, right? We're men. Like if we got a problem, put the guns down. What's up? Don't nobody want to do that though, right? We don't want hand-to-hand combat no more. So
yup,
again, you have a lot of these men that are in positions of power that are using their money, right? They're using their influence to control and manipulate people and to control these markets. So, man, I know you got to get out of here. I appreciate you. Let the people know where they can find you on all the social media platforms and all that good stuff, man.
But yeah, again, I appreciate you having me on, man. Just being able to take the time to talk about SB56, what we really need to do, what the state house has really been doing, what's been going on here. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Um, yeah, you can find
Likewise.
me literally just Google Rodney Hash. You'll find me on every platform. I'm on X, Rodney_Hash. I'm on Instagram at Rodney Hash or Rodney Hash
And don't
2.0.
follow him if you ain't ready. Rodney, you gotta go get her, man.
Yeah, and then on YouTube, I will be posting a whole lot more on YouTube. I just got this brand new mic, like a two
I
hundred
seen
and
your
fifty dollar
setup.
mic.
Yeah.
I've got a $500 video transponder thing and interface. I've got another one coming in the mail. That's where I've invested my tax dollars.
I
So
love it.
my tax refunds are going straight to the podcast. So I
Hey,
will be
keep it
posting a
up.
lot more. I'll probably be having Eric Seinenberg on soon. I know I want to get Dave Gracie, who's actually like the son of Helton Gracie. He's supposed to be the next one on.
Okay.
After that, I want to get someone from the committee on for the voter referendum, be able to talk about all this, explain to everyone why it's so important. So yeah, I'm working, but literally Rodney Hash on every platform.
Cool.
Heck yeah,
Awesome,
man.
man. We appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you.
Yeah,
Peace.
have a good one. My guy Rodney Hash, man. Y'all make sure y'all check him out. Good guy, man. Again, we all have differences. You know what I mean? We all come from different backgrounds, and I'm a judger of character. You know what I mean? And I can tell by just having conversations with certain people, right? And so Rodney's been somebody that we probably met. It's probably been a couple of years now that we've been working on some of this stuff. So he's been somebody that's been very consistent, very vocal publicly online. So he's definitely somebody that's passionate about what's going on. He's also knowledgeable about cannabis. So I think that's important too, to actually have people that care about the plant at, the basic level. Because your voices need to be heard. I'm not a grower, and I'll tell people the media stuff comes easy. Talking, having conversations with people. I do love gardening. I did grow my own grow. I do have a nonprofit focused on gardening, but I also understand that there are people, especially in the cannabis space, that have been doing this for a while. You know what I mean? And I like smoking good weed, so I'd rather go to somebody that knows what they're doing. You know what I mean? And getting firsthand knowledge and information from them. So we always support our home growers over here, our legacy growers, whatever. I think y'all are, some of the baddest people out there. So I appreciate you guys, especially the ones that are doing it consciously, right? With understanding what they're actually doing, the product that they're actually giving to. Because there's a lot of people that'll just sell they'll sell you some Reggie, right? They'll sell you something in a nice packaging just to get your money, right? They'll sell you something that look nice, spray packs, all this bullshit that people got going on. So, we appreciate transparency. Obviously, we know it's not easy, so I appreciate the people that do it the right way. And capitalism obviously is a hell of a drug for a lot of people. So, we're just here to build community, share information. Again, like I said, all these things are people's opinions. These are our opinions, my thoughts. This is not representative of any organization that I may be affiliated with. This is me individually, freedom of press. So, again, this platform's for news, information, entertainment, and educational purposes only. We are not lawyers. We are not police. We are not the legislators. We are just average citizens with thoughts and opinions and concerns about what is going on in our community at a state and local level and federal level as well. We also are global citizens, so we understand that our impact reverberates around the world, right? They say Ohio is the heart of it all. And so the heart is important, right? It's the thing, it's the life that pumps the blood through the body, right? So if we're the heart of it all in the United States, we have to understand where our role is, right? And so it's important that we play our role the right way. So we thank you guys for tuning in. Let me see, I got a comment. Remember to like the stream, for sure, man. Like and subscribe. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, share. If you guys found this information valuable, if this interview was valuable to you guys, please share it out to your community. Because we grow from you guys, you know what I mean? So everything that we do is organic. I haven't done any paid ads. Like I said, Rodney probably doesn't spend more. I haven't spent a lot of money on this platform. Honestly, I like to do things very organic. So we appreciate everybody who has found us organically. Anybody that has shared, commented, whatever, man, we really appreciate you guys. And I'm going to keep, bringing you guys some content. I do have another interview coming up later. Dan the Cannaman, who Rodney Hash brought up in the interview. He said we can talk about 6 p.m. So look forward to having that conversation with him. more about SB56 and getting volunteers and getting trained up on that information with how to be more involved with Say No to Ohio SB56. Yeah, make sure you guys follow us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. We're on all the platforms. Did I say Facebook? I really don't be on X. We're on Threads. We're on TikTok. So we try to hit all the spaces. Also, if you guys have any information that you want to share with us anonymously, you can do that. And you can just send that information to our email, Ohio Cannabis Report at gmail.com. I'm going to put that at the bottom of the screen. Also, you can direct message us on YouTube. You can direct message us on any other platforms. Again, I'm a community member. So if you have any events, you want me to cover the event, you just want me to come hang out, have a good time, I try to make it to events as much as I can fit it in my schedule. I'm a husband and dad first. This is, side gig. So family comes first. Again, I try to cover as much of the news and information as possible coming out of the state. Also, let me know in the chat where you guys are tuning in from. I'm in Columbus, Ohio, Franklin County. So shout out to the 614. I know we got a lot of people from Cleveland, a lot of Dayton folks. I've been looking at the data. We got people from all over, man. We're a global stream, man. We've had people from Germany, we've had people from Africa, we've had people from all over tap in. Canada, Texas, California, New York, Maryland, DC. So we're hitting people from all over the place, man. So shout out to everybody all over the globe. If you catch this, you know what I mean? Definitely tap in with us. We appreciate you guys. I'm signing off for now, but we'll be back later. Peace.